Hi, this is Evan Jones from LawSchooly.com, continuing with our series of Preptest logic games video explanations. This is game 4 from Preptest 7, the first game in the first Preptest in your 10 actual official LSAT Preptest book. So this is a linear game, but it's an advanced linear game with 2 layers and 2 different sets of variables that you have to juggle. So certainly throughout this Preptest 7, we've kind of built in complexity, and this game is a little harder than some of the other ones we've looked at least in the setup. Once you've got the setup right, it's pretty quick solving from there. Okay, so let's check it out. Okay, so for our basic setup, we have 5 runners. I've got them up here: Larry, Ned, Olivia, Patricia, and Sonia. And then we also have another wrinkle, which is that we've got these 5 charities: F, G, H, J, and K. We're assigning the runners to 5 lanes, so get your 5 lanes down here, and this is where the runners will go, down here. And then you need another row to represent where you're marking which charity they are running for. Okay, so typical advanced linear setup with 2 rows rather than 1. Sometimes it's easier with these things to put your variables down next to where they're going as a visible marker as to where you'll be using these pieces. And if you do that, which is a good idea, I definitely recommend getting rid of this, because it looks like an extra variable, and you don't want to confuse yourself thinking that there's game pieces that exist that do not. Okay, so this is your basic main diagram that you'll be working with. So once you've got that down, it's time to go to the rules. We've got a nice rule at first, because it's always great when you get to slap something directly into the main diagram. So we've got the runner representing K is assigned to lane 4. So you can just write K in right here. That's going to be K's permanent home. Patricia is assigned to the only lane between the lanes of runners representing F and G. So this is a new rule. It's kind of complicated to write here. You've got F, and then there's a blank spot, then G, and then Patricia will be down below. So that operates as kind of a block here. And I'd put that in visual form so you can easily remember that that block has to be plugged in here. Mentally, it's much easier to work with if it looks staggered like this, as it will be in your diagram, rather than writing, say, P in the middle there. Okay, and there's exactly 2 runners between Olivia's lane and the runner representing G. Now, whenever you can combine rules, I think it's a good idea to do so. So you could do that visually by just adding O on right here, and if you want, make a little thing for it. You could also, write 2 spots there and write O there, and have this tail going off. Okay, so that's how I'd represent this rule, just like a visual kind of approximation of how it will fit in here. And once you have that, it's starting to look like this is a big chunky block. And one thing to developing your skills as the test taker is you need to quickly spot when the possibilities are getting kind of limited. So like just looking at this F and G, it can go here, right? You could imagine. Or the alternative, the only other place it could go without bumping into the K, is right here. And have the P down there. And then with the interaction of this O, which has to be exactly 2 away from the G, this is possible, right? So that's one setup. What I might do is try and break that out. And this one is clearly possible, right? But what if I try the other one? I quickly saw when I was first doing this game that it's not possible. You can't have O2 away from the G. Here it'd have to be in spot 0, which doesn't exist, right? And if we try to put the O2 away, it's in a 6 spot, so it's off the board in either case. So I think most good test takers are spotting this here, that there's just one thing, one possibility. If not, by the time they do the acceptability question, they'll figure this out. It might take a little more time. This is the only possible scenario. F, G up there, P down here, O2 away from it here. Okay, and then there's one more rule remaining, and that's a simple sequencing rule, which is that Sonia is higher than Ned. So, N, then S. Easy visual representation. Okay, and now moving on to question 19. This is the first actual acceptability question we've had so far here. I've taken the trouble to write out the possibilities. What you need to do is just go through and see if they work with this diagram that we've drawn. It's only the charities that we're worried about. So you just scan and find your FKG. That's the only possible answer. All these don't work because we know that we've got this FKG structure fixed in here. So that's just how it goes. Easy question if you figured out this setup. If not, it's probably going to force you to figure it out because you'll try out other alternate possibilities and see, no, this is the only way that F and G can go. Question 20, the lane to which Patricia is assigned must be a lane that is, and then you get your answer choices, and it's asking which one Patricia has to be next to, basically. Next to the lane to which Larry is assigned, next to the lane to which Ned is assigned, separated, etc., etc. Well, before I'm even looking at these answer choices, once I've glanced at them, I know they're probably going to ask who she has to be next to. And that's got to be Sonia, right? Because you either have this NS possibility, or you can have NS, or you can have NS, and no matter what, Patricia is next to Sonia. However, even though that's a great intuition, that's not available in the answer choices, so I have to look for something else. And scanning through them, I see something that's already in the diagram, so maybe that thinking that I did there wasn't even really necessary, because answer choice D is separated by exactly one lane from the lane to which Olivia is assigned. So again, this question's just testing what we already figured out at the beginning. Again, if you hadn't gotten this whole thing yet, you'd have to see it by now. Otherwise, this game is going to be next to impossible to solve. So this is just testing your setup. You don't really see that a lot anymore on modern tests. Well, you don't see it quite as much, but sometimes you'll get an easy question that just tests whether you did this setup right, basically. 21 asks us, if Olivia is in lane 2, which of the following assignments must be made? And that could throw you off because we know that Olivia always has to be in lane 2, but don't get worried about things like that. You'll see that from time to time on the LSAT. Be confident in your setups. You haven't missed anything. Trust me, this is the only possible setup for these. So, which of the following assignments must be made? If you scan through, you eventually see G has to be in 5. Yeah, that's always the case in this game. Answer choice B is the correct answer. Before doing any work, check again if your setup answers it. And it does. We know at this point, too, nothing else is fixed right here. We should probably just put this in. J and H can alternate in there. There's no rules about that. Obviously, S can't go here, and N can't go here, but that's it. All the rest of the variables can like move or alternate, but these are always fixed. Okay, so B for 21. Question 22, which of the following is a complete and accurate list of the runners, each of whom could be the runner representing F? you have n and s could each be in there, right? Like, imagine your ns scenario, imagine your ns scenario here. That's fine. Hopefully mentally you can quickly juggle that around. And then what's our only remaining free variable? That's L. No reason why L can't be there either. So your brain should get good at dancing around variables like that. You'll see that now N, L, and S are all perfectly acceptable. That's answer choice D, the correct answer. 23. If Ned is representing J, it must be true that. So to do that, you'd have to have Ned here, and then this is going to be J, this is going to be H. I wouldn't be doing this in a main diagram necessarily normally, although I think this is all work that you can do just in your head, right? So what must be true in this case? The runner representing H is assigned to lane 2. To me, that just jumps out. So that's the correct answer, B, but you could look at the other ones and see that there's flexibility, so they're not must be trues. A, the runner representing G is assigned to lane 1. No way, that can never be true. C, Larry is the runner representing K. Nope, that can never be true. Olivia is representing F. Never true. Patricia is representing H. Nope, can never be true. So we're left with B as the only thing that must be true. In fact, it's the only one that can be true. B is our answer. 24. If Larry represents J, so we need to have, again, this set up with Larry here representing J. And then now everything's completely fixed, right? You've got J and H up there. And then you have, let's get this in an orderly fashion here, even though it's hardly necessary. Yeah, so everything's completely fixed, and obviously that's the easiest question to solve. Which of the following could be the assignments of runners to lanes? You just have to match up this L, O, N, P, S, and you're done. That's actually the first answer choice. Answer choice A is your correct answer. Really, really easy game. If you could just see that one tough inference, which is that there was only one possible place to slap this huge block. So once you've figured out where this annoying block goes, you're basically done. You're just filling in correct answers. That caps off what was, an incredibly easy game section. With few exceptions, are you going to find one that's that quite so easy on modern LSATs? But who knows? There was a few years there where games were relatively easy, but don't hope for it. Just get really, really good at games, and you'll be able to take out joke games like this no problem at all. If it seems hard now, trust me, it won't be. Doing something like this by the time you've got more experience under your belt. Okay, well, great. That caps off Preptest 7, so we'll continue with Preptest 8, doing more logic games explanations. Hope to see you. Bye.